Rocketman is when there was a moment where I think Elton was just coping with fame, drugs, and lack of love and being screwed over by various people, which sort of summed up his funkiness of his life at that stage.
So that immediately is like, okay, here's a really interesting idea. There's going to be something weird about it. There's going to be something that's off kilter, because that's where everyone is at this point. He's the great creative person that he is, but he's off kilter. He's out of whack.
The swimming pools are always difficult because obviously we've had to build the diving board. Okay, so that had to be tested. I mean, Taron came here last week, tested the diving board.
For my next trick!
The stuntman obviously tested it first before we threw Taron off it.
I'm gonna fucking drown myself. Hey!
But the biggest challenge is obviously the water itself, the depth of the swimming pool. You know, is it going to be deep enough for someone to fall off the board into the water? The camera, we've got to get the right camera position. And the biggest problem we had here is actually getting the crane into position. The construction boys had to build ramps to actually take the crane up and roll it up over the stairs, had to get it into poolside. We had to get a structural engineer in to make sure that the weight of the crane was adequate for the pool to take it.
It's a particularly dark point in Elton's history. In actuality, he actually did jump in the pool the day before the Dodger Stadium gig. He's at a very, very, very low point. His family arrive basically to watch what is set to be a very historic performance. And it all kind of comes to a head for him here and becomes too much, and he throws himself into the pool.
Fucking killing myself.
The idea is we're shooting it for real in the actual pool, and then we'll cut to the tank back at Pinewood and pick up all these signs there.
Today we are on the underwater stage at Pinewood Studios, where we are filming a portion of the Rocketman sequence, as in the title song of the film. Elton throws himself into the pool, and we kind of enter this heightened reality at the bottom of the pool, which kind of grows. He meets the younger version of himself, who's sort of playing the piano in a spacesuit, and he starts singing to him, and Elton responds. And what we're filming now is Elton singing Rocketman back to the younger version of himself, really.
3, 2, 1. Take your regulator out in your own time. Here we go. So Taron, you're happy? And action. Run away, Pete. Lovely. We're swinging the light slowly.
Obviously there's a great safety team here. They have very strict sort of rules and safety precautions that are in place when you're doing work like this. Yeah, they're great. I've worked with this team before several times and they really are amazing.
Can you go up past him, please? Can you go up past him, please, Silky? So just bring it up. Bring the cameras up past him, both cameras. Into the sunlight, please. Into the sunlight. Okay, let's put some air in for Taron. Let's put some air in for Taron.
It's really weird, you can hear the song underneath the water. Kind of blows my mind. It's not very bassy, it sounds a bit like a sort of 1990s Walkman, but you can hear the song. It's cool. I've done a bit of underwater stuff before, and I've found that you get better at it the more the day goes on, or the week, or however long you're shooting for goes on, because you become more and more relaxed. Everyone says the key to it is relaxation, so I'm trying to enjoy it, really. I'm trying to enjoy the challenge of it. And the first time I got in today, I felt a little bit, I got quite nervous. I called for air because I'm kind of quite deep. It's at least, I don't know, I'm at least sort of 10 meters down, I think. The diver who's helping Pete was great, but I just was expecting it a bit quicker, and it kind of frightened me. And then it took a little while for me to sort of get myself back into the game, really. But the longer the day's gone on, the longer I've been able to kind of last down there, and I'm really enjoying it.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 AM. I didn't get it behind as a guide by then.
The technique's quite unusual because we go down there, you have to equalise as you go down, which is tricky as well, because in this shot I have to sink, and so I'm trying to equalise without holding my nose and doing it. But yeah, so it's also trying to do that without pulling funny faces. But yeah, it's all good fun.
It's long out in space.
Obviously, I'm not singing underwater. I've pre-recorded the track, but I'm having to kind of make it look like I am. Which is tricky because you, in order to do it without a load of bubbles coming out, you kind of have to let your mouth fill with water and have your eyes open, which is why my eyes I look like I've been up for days, but I haven't. There's just a lot of chlorine in there, I think.
On such a timeless flight.
I just think it's a really cool little sequence. He has this incredible little exchange with the 6-year-old version of himself, who appears at various points throughout the film, kind of trying to tell him something. And it's only towards the end we realise that what he's telling him is to sort of accept who he is and be happy with who he is, and to be able to just sort of live and sit with that.
Our Elton needs to come in and start confronting himself and start confronting what the root of his problems are and why he is the person that he is when we meet him in the film. Why is this person with all these kind of addictions and problems? And this kid needs to pull him in. Elton's always kind of, you know, he's got to that point where he's always felt he was bad, but the truth is he wasn't. He was once just a wonderful, innocent child, and like we all were, you know, at some point in our history, and that's what he needs to reconnect with.
2, 1, action!
What happened?
It's a really sad moment, but it's kind of beautiful in its darkness, really, and I love that sense of oblivion to it, because I think that's what addiction is about. I think that's what addiction and alcoholism seem to me to be about, is a sort of an oblivion, really. And there's an allure in that, and there's a sort of beauty in that, and I really love that number for that reason.